There's also, this is kind of like a part two to what my last little musing, but there's also this like desire to identify with like the sacrifice, right? Because in order to, oh my god, I hate using this phrase. When you're playing chess, not checkers, part of the game is that you will sacrifice pieces, but you sacrifice pieces as a strategy, as a um, tool to move forward, right? To ultimately win the game. And so I think it's been really important to kind of like keep that in mind, that like every loss that I experienced was a loss that I determined for myself. Even the person beating me was not the person in control of those situations. I was, because I allowed myself to be in that position so that I could be in the position that I am in now. And I think of like how I used to play chess before, which is like really fun. I was like, I don't. I think it might have been like the first or second time I was like an inpatient proper, like not a 72-hour hold, like in there. And one my psychiatrist was actually a Mason, and he was playing a game of chess with me just to see what my brain was like. And I remember I just pretended that I didn't know how to play chess. You know, I just I just let myself lose, because I didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like I'm also like, maybe it's like a toxic trait. I'm like, if you're my therapist, you have to work to get into the innermost part of my mind. But I think that's fair, because as like a black queer person, people have like this immediate like what is it called? It's almost like a blind spot, implicit bias that um I'm not as valid as other people. And so I really like to build a foundational understanding of like who I am as a person before I really bring up what is important to me, to other people. Um, but I digress. It's an understanding that when I choose not to play the game and I lose as a result of that, that is also something that I chose to do. And it's a continuation of just understanding that me standing in my power sometimes looks like me losing. And there's really nothing I can do to shift the perception of that for other people, unless I find someone who's like actually sitting there and watching the journey with me, from a much larger perspective, or a wider perspective. Um, and since a lot of the times I'm that only person in my life, there's like maybe a few people on my social media who have been following me for years, or months or something like that, who have a grander idea of who I am outside of like the silly videos, or they understand how the silly videos play into the larger scope of my experience. But it's something that I need to consistently hold for myself, or else I can fixate on the losses and not recognize that the losses were something that was foundational and formative to me, and a symbol of my power.